I'm Julie Clemens. I am doing my oral presentation for Communications 252. I will start out by showing you my audience. These are my lovely daughters.
Hello.
Who are going to be my audience today. So hello, my name is Julie Clemens. I am currently finishing up my Associates in Arts at BCTC and will be graduating in May. I will be continuing on to EKU in the summer and starting my bachelor's in social work. My end goal is to obtain my master's in social work and work with individuals who are struggling with addiction. An interesting fact about me is that my family moved around a lot growing up, and I have lived in 9 different states. The title of my journal is Growing Up Silenced, My Adult Journey Through Communications. I chose this title because growing up, we were taught that children were to be seen and not heard. The importance of communication skills was not taught to me as a child, and I've had to learn the rights and wrongs of communications as an adult. My goal for this course is to become familiar with all the different forms of communication and learn which type of communication to use depending on the situation and the audience. Effective communication is important in today's society, and I want to be educated on how to decide to use which form and how to use it correctly. My favorite chapter in Units 1 and 2 was Chapter 6, which teaches us about language and how it relates to communication. The way we speak affects whether we are conveying effective communication. The textbook tells us that by using assertive language, which is defined as clearly expressing one's thoughts, feelings, and wants, we can allow our audience to understand the purpose of our dialogue and ensure they understand where we stand on a specific topic. With the use of I statements, we're able to take responsibility for our communications without expressing judgment, whereas the use of you statements communicates that we are placing blame or being judgmental and can cause the other person to become defensive. In an article published in the National Library of Medicine, it states that the more frequent use of I statements in relation to you statements produces better results with problem solving and a higher relationship satisfaction. My least favorite chapter in Units 1 and 2 was Chapter 4, which discusses the interpersonal communication and the self. This chapter dives deep into self-concept and how it affects interpersonal communication. Self-concept is defined as the set of perceptions we hold on ourselves. This is a hard concept to swallow. The way that we perceive ourselves is able to be noticed through our communications. A big part of self-concept is self-esteem. How we feel about the qualities we see in ourselves determines our level of self-esteem. This, in turn, can affect the way we communicate and the level of self-confidence we exude. In an article on Saylor.org, it gives us examples of how interactions with those around us can improve our self-confidence and raise our self-esteem. If we positively communicate with someone about similar abilities and traits, also known as social comparison, and recognize their successes, we are more apt to feel that we could have the same outcome as well. I think that my style of communication is a mixture of all different types. Depending on the topic of discussion, as well as the audience that I am communicating with, will decide which communication type I use. I do know that I'm a very emotional person, and emotions are a huge part of everyday communication for me. I'm also guilty of mindless listening. I tend to stretch myself to capacity, which causes less important conversations to become simple background noise. What I have learned about my communication skills is that I am horrible at recognizing the nonverbal communication that I project, and that I need to slow down and pay attention. I need to work on treating the importance of every conversation equally and truly listen instead of just hearing words. I also need to be mindful of the nonverbal cues I'm giving with certain communications. I tend to speak my true thoughts with my face and my body language, which can be interpreted as negative feedback. I am grateful for all that I have learned in Communications 252 this semester and will utilize the knowledge I have gained to assist in more effective communications today, tomorrow, and in the future. Thank you.